We just passed 10,000 subs on the channel, so I thought that I would first acknowledge it and thank you all for coming here and share this community together. And instead of another tech review, take a look at what kind of computer I built. And for the ones who's been around the channel for the past few years, you definitely know my Thermaltake 900 Super Tower build. And it's also kind of an infamous build because my very worst comments and disliked video comes from that build. It doesn't take away the fact that I absolutely love this computer, and I've decided to give this Frankenstein of a build a second youth. And talking of youth, did you know that sleeping with a Frenchman will give you eternal youth? Did you? So here it is, that's what's left of it anyways, and as I sold the original Crosshair 6 I had installed there, I was too lazy to purge it, and obviously the liquid has turned and changed colors. Now we got coolant splattered everywhere, and yes, this is my toothbrush stuck in there, coming from the days where brushing your teeth was still trending. Hashtag I'm a Frenchman. So very first thing you want to have here is a bunch of absorbent tower. Keep in mind that there's always more water than you think. I mean, it's just never ending. Whatever you touch is going to be flowing out, so make sure you're ready for this. Yeah, it's pretty gross. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to remove the reservoir and straight into the sink and clear them with a bunch of fresh tap water. Next, I'm going to remove the pumps, trying not to spill too much all over the place, but who am I kidding? It's disgusting and I kind of like it. Hashtag I'm still a Frenchman. It's hard to believe, but this used to be a beautiful, functional, top of its day computer, which I completely neglected. And if you thought that this was bad, well, shame on me for this result of complete procrastination for countless days, countless. And yes, this does look like a weird punk art crime scene, and make no mistake, I am the punk art criminal. Yes, officer, take me away, take me away. And indeed, this is probably a bit over dramatized for a tech YouTube video. Problem with colored coolant is that, well, it stains, and since my TT900 is white, I am using, well, any kind of detergent I have underhand to try to get back to that white. Hence, this is going to take you a lot of time. Next up, removing the rads, and that's where things are getting a bit more serious. After emptying them, I'm going to fill them up with a mix of distilled water and white vinegar in about a 70-30 ratio. I'm going to let it rest for at least a good afternoon to dissolve all that remains from sitting coolant. Can you hear? I got a bird. It's a crow, isn't it? I'm gonna get up. It's gone. It's gone. In the meantime, I am going to remove the motherboard plate and make sure it is squeaky clean before placing the new motherboard on it. And a great motherboard it is. It is nothing else than the Pro WS X570 Ace from Asus. Best workstation motherboard there is in the world, in my opinion, and you should definitely check the review I made of it a few months back. Processor-wise, I decided to go with nothing less than the gargantuesque Ryzen 9 3900X, a 12-core, 24-threads monster. I know it's just the same looking CPU as any other CPU, but holding a 12-core CPU makes you that much of a better man. Now I'm going to place the EK-WB CPU water block to keep that monstrous die cool at all times. Feels right. Now jumping to our TT900 central console, I decided to avoid the catastrophe I had made a few years back and decided to simply cover that mutilated poor thing with freshly laser cut new walls, complete with angle sticks to hide the disgusting white silicone I had placed here and so infamous for. Okay, I got it. And to top it all and to flatter my undying ego, I also got a plate with channels logo laser printed on it. So we're going to paint this sucker, and after a couple of layers of rust resistant paint, and I did screw the thing all back together. I mean, that is much better. Next, I'm placing back the cleaned pumps and the motherboard plate support. Radiators are now drained and dry, and I am simply going to put them back in place. Next up are the clean reservoir, which I clean with nothing more than soap water, and make sure not to use white vinegar with this because you might get them all foggy and you don't want that. GPU wise, I decided to beef up my build with a second 1080 Ti I had laying around, because yes, I do have 1080 Ti laying around all the time. Now, at this time of the video, I have placed back all the main water cooling components of my build: CPU, rads, reservoir, GPU, and pumps. Now come next the plumbing, and as you may already know, I am a big fan of the flexi tubes. It's not that I don't like solid tubing, which also, I mean, like most of you will say it looks better, cleaner. I like the organic feels, almost biological feel of FlexiTube. It's messy, it's confusing, it just makes me believe my computer is alive, and I like that. Since I'm going for monochrome spirit, I decided to go with a white colored loop for the CPU and the black tubing for the GPU. And nota bene, I wanted to go for black ink, but since EKWB does not do black coolant yet, I went for the black tubing, which actually is, I think, a great choice, because it gives us latex feel and underlines this industrial / organic aesthetic of the old build. And after shaking the whole thing around and making sure there are no obvious leaks, I'm going to add the Milk White CryoCool EKWB coolant, which really puts this whole thing together. Now look at that, milky smooth, and to be honest, it did come together even a bit better than expected. And because I am weird and I love doing weird stuff, I did feel the need to do an unnecessary twisted and expensive water bridge between my two video cards. And this is all nice and well, but because I am the true incarnation of originality, I had to do some good looking 4K editing in music.